Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So I got one today, and I want you guys to really listen to what she is saying, because she's actually spitting facts, and we gotta talk about what she's really saying here. So without too much further ado, let me go ahead and play this for you guys.
General, become a victim in relationships. I've been in relationships where I was a victim every single time there was something wrong with a man. A man could say one thing and I'm like, well, you did. Remember when you 6 months ago said da 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 da? And that's how I used to be programmed to be. It is so important as a woman, if you want to have a sustainable relationship with a man, to regard his feelings. We disregard men's feelings so much, and it's so foul to a man in general become a victim in relationships. And because he no longer can express himself, he can't tell you how he's feeling, he cannot literally be in a relationship where he can actually approach you and say, yo, this happened, I feel this type of way, because the first thing we're going to do is be like, well, what did you do last week? Did you take your shoe? Did you do that? And because he no longer can express himself.
Now, hopefully you guys were able to hear that. Here's my take on it. First of all, she's absolutely correct. All right. And I really need to talk to the ladies about this, because this is really how you play yourself out of pretty much any relationship. Women think that this is a small situation, that this is something small to do, and that it doesn't really mean a whole lot. A lot of times, so programmed to do it that you don't realize that that's what you do. And the root of doing that is not wanting to be told or corrected in any way, not wanting any of the man's system, order, and structure in any way, shape, or form. A lot of times what we'll tell the guys, well, I didn't like the tone that you said it in, I didn't the way you said it. But the reality for a lot of those times is that we just don't like what he said. And it doesn't matter if he says it harshly, it doesn't matter if he says it softly, it doesn't matter if he says it, in a word salad, it doesn't matter if he says it straight up, it doesn't matter how he puts it across to us. If we don't want to hear what is being said, if we don't want the system, order, and structure, and we don't want the corrective part of his leadership, then what we'll do is we'll get in our feelings about it and then try to say, oh, like she just said, oh, well, you said it like such and such, or remember when you did blah, 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 now you got a problem when I'm doing such and such. And it's a way to do several things. The first thing that it's a way to do is dodge the accountability. That's number one. That is a number one tactic of accountability dodging that so many, like the vast majority of women, like to do. Even the lionesses like to do this sometimes. You all got to watch this. Watch this kind of behavior, because you might be a good woman in other areas. This is messing you up, though. This is messing you up, though, because a part of a man's good leadership is the fact that he can correct you. And this isn't even about the other thing that women take correction, and the reason why they don't like accountability is because automatically, if your man tells you something about you that bothers him or that makes him feel some type of way, maybe it upsets him, maybe it makes him angry, maybe it's annoying, maybe it, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be, and he just says it to you, okay, you got to have the emotional maturity to just accept it, Because when he's doing something that we don't like, or if we're annoyed or anything like that, we really don't got a problem saying that. And we just expect him to take it on the chin. We expect him to be like, okay, well, I'll fix it or whatever. We don't really expect him to start doing all of this accountability dodging and moving around. We don't expect him to do that. And the reason why we don't expect him to do that is because of this. This is the thought pattern of women. When we bring something up to our husbands to say that this is something that really bothers me, could you please address it? We be thinking, if you love me and if you respect me, then you will try to address it, especially if this is a legitimate concern. If I bring you a legitimate concern, then out of love and respect for me and this relationship that we are in, you will address this issue. Y'all realize it worked the other way, right? He's thinking the same thing. Okay, if I come to you and I say, all right, this is what is going on. Okay. If your man come to you and says, babe, when you do blah, 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 that really like bothers me. I don't like it. Or whatever it is. It doesn't even matter what it is. Big or small, whatever the case. Your job is to have that same love and respect that you want him to have with you when you do it. That's really the other part of this is women like to claim victimhood status. Number one, to shun accountability and as an excuse to not have reciprocity in a relationship. A lot of times y'all think y'all the only ones that need to be emotionally safe in a relationship. Don't listen to what this is probably going to be the first time I tell y'all this, but I want you to hear me out. Hear me out. Men will act like it don't bother them. That stuff don't bother them. Do not listen to that. Do not listen to that. Men do need to be emotionally safe in their marriages. Point blank, period. They may not have the same emotional responses that we have. They may not have all the outbursts that we be having. They may not even put a lot of words to it because they just different like that. Men are not going to be sitting around having a bunch of hissy fits about what you did and what you didn't do and how they felt about it and blah, 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 blah. They're not going to do that. We're more likely to, be more expressive about how we feel and how stuff is making us feel. And we want him to reassure us. We want him to make the safe space. We want him to make the safe emotional space, even if this is the type of man that's not really adept at doing that. We expect him to know how to do it simply because we're in a relationship with him. Guess what? It works the other way around. And actually, you should be better at it. You should be better at it because women like to claim that they're the nurturers and they know. Okay, so then you should be better at it then. All right. It should not take a whole lot for you to say, you know what? Yeah, I know how to do that. If your husband comes to you and he says he has a conversation with you about something and that something is you and he doesn't come back with a glowing report, you have to, first of all, shut your mouth. That's step number one. Step number one, let's go through that. Step number one is shut your mouth and open your ears. Just because he has an issue with something that you might have said or something that you may habitually do or something like that doesn't mean that he's saying that you overall are a bad person. That is not what he's saying. He's simply pointing out a certain behavior or something like that he wishes for you to address. All right? And correct. That is not an indictment on who you are and who you have been in this relationship necessarily. Okay? He's asking you to address it, just like you ask him to address things. All right. So the first step to making sure that you're not doing this whole flip it back on you, I'm the victim and you're the monster type situation, is shut your mouth. That's all that you have to do. And then don't pout and shut your mouth. Don't shut your mouth and then not listen to what he's saying. Get out your bag for a second and be quiet and hear him. Actually have empathy. Empathy. Empathy is seeing something from the perspective of the other person, understanding their perspective on a situation. Okay? That is what empathy is. Empathy is simply just understanding where the other person is coming from and how things, just seeing stuff from their point of view rather than seeing things only from your point of view. Because you might not think it's a big deal, whatever it is that he's talking about. You might not even have noticed it, but it is affecting him. And if it's affecting him to the point where he actually is talking to you about it, then it's been doing that for a while. So you really do need to hurry up and fix it. Hurry up and be mindful of whatever it is. Okay? Everything is not about a tit for tat. Everything is not about what you tell me I didn't do this. And remember when I asked you to do da 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 da, you didn't do it. Like, stop that. That gets y'all out of relationships. I'm telling y'all the keys to keeping and losing your men. When you have that combative spirit, when you have that I'm a victim spirit, when you have that dodging accountability spirit, and men can hear that, even for those who are not married and who are looking for husbands and stuff like that. When you talking, see, men hear conversations way different than you think they hear them. And men be hearing stuff like that. They hear the combativeness. They hear the you can't tell me. They hear the, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna do what I want. Or they hear the lack of empathy that you have. They hear, you know what I'm saying? It's not cute to to be talking to these men, whether you trying to date him to get to a marriage or you already in a marriage. Stop trying to tell them about, you know what I'm saying, just like how much empathy you never show, or how you don't consider people. Because all that that's saying to him is that you don't consider me. You throw, I'm in that pot too. I'm in that pot too. You don't care about what nobody say, and you do what you want to do, da 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 da, and can't nobody tell you, and da 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 da. That men here, oh, I'm thrown in the pot. So this is what happens when I'm talking to her. She not listening. She she not listening, and she doesn't care what I say. So let me circle back around. We have to be the emotional safe spaces for men, because that's the other side of what she's talking about. Now him feeling like he can't say nothing. This is a lot of times why the men don't say nothing. It's not that they're okay with your bad behavior. It's just that they don't want to hear the runaround. They don't want to hear the foolishness that's going to come out your mouth as soon as he says anything. Now you got this whole thing that you got to go through just because he said 1, 2, 3. Now you got to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Like, ain't nobody got time for you to be going through, you know what I'm saying, a abacus of numbers just because I said something to you. Why you not more emotionally mature than to accept what I'm saying, hush your mouth, listen, try to have empathy with what's being said and understand why it's being said. Because again, going back to the very first point, if you love and respect your husband, why is it difficult to self correct behavior to make him feel better? Huh? Why is that difficult? Why is that a hard thing for you to do? Because you would do that for somebody that you loved, correct? We make a lot of concessions for people that we love. Because I bet you on that job, if your boss come in there and tell you don't turn in no email like that, like you did last week, I bet you won't do it. And he ain't got to come at you soft. And he ain't got to come at you, you know what I'm saying, with all of these kid gloves that you want. The other thing, the other part of this is stop flipping back on him, not only trying to go tit for tat, but stop trying to make him make it his job to make you feel better about what he said to you. Because that's the other thing. He'll say something, now you feel away. And now instead of dealing with why he brought up that conversation in the first place, now we got to deal with your feelings are hurt. And now it's his job to make sure that your feelings are not hurt. And that way we don't talk about what the original issue was, which was you. Y'all play a lot of games. You play too much. And that's why you either don't have relationships that you really want, or the relationship that you have be rocky because you play too much. You play too much. Now, you don't want him to play with your feelings, but you don't care whether he has a soft place to land his feelings. You're supposed to be his soft place. You don't like soft guy era. You supposed to be his soft guy era. You. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.